This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome to this meeting. In response to the social distancing protocols established by the governor, today's meeting of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District will again be held online with all the members joining remotely, with most members joining remotely. Our hearts go out to those impacted by coronavirus, to those caring for the sick. Today's meeting order will include a finance committee and then the regular board meeting. Meeting agendas are available at hrbrrd.com under board meetings. We ask that you close other programs on your computer or phone or silence your cell phone and mute your audio. The conference organizer will monitor the program's chat function for public comment. Comments may also be emailed to hrao@hrbrrd.newyork.gov. We'll begin today's meeting with our Finance Committee meeting. Mr. DeWitt.
Can I call the Finance Committee meeting to order? And can we have a Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Leslie.
Committee Chairman Kenneth DeWitt.
Here.
Committee members Albert Hayes,
Here.
Jeffrey Rosenthal,
Here.
Richard Byrd.
Here.
Board Chairman ex officio member,
Here.
Executive Director John Can,
Here.
General Counsel Robert Leslie here, Chief Engineer Robert Fultan, Chief Fiscal Officer Timothy Manicha,
Here.
Area Administrator John Hudson,
Here.
Here.
John, you may be on mute.
John Hudson. Here.
Okay, I saw your mouth move. Compliance Officer Stephanie Ruzicki.
Here.
All accounted and present.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt or revise meeting agenda?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to approve the May 12th, 2020 Financial Committee meeting minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Who
approved.
was the mover second?
I made the motion, I believe.
And I seconded it, Rob.
Mr. Byrd? And,
Yes.
and Mr. Rosenthal. Thank you. Okay, I was cutting in and
Committee business, under new business, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Black River Area Assessment, which will be $914,000, 535 cents. I'm sorry, $914,000, $535. Mr. Minucha, the Chief Financial Officer, will explain that, and if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before going into any of the details, I'd just like to start by thanking Rob Fultan for his help in reviewing these assessments. Environmental Conservation Law, Title 21, Sections 15-2123 and 15-2125 empowers the board to annually prepare a statement showing the name of each public corporation and a description of each parcel of real estate benefited by the reservoirs and the amount of operation and maintenance charges to be borne by each as determined in the apportionment. In this first of 4 resolutions dealing with these assessments, we ask the board to approve the annual assessment for storage reservoirs for the Black River area for the 3rd year of the budget period beginning July 1, 2020 in the amount of $914,535. This represents costs approved by the board for fiscal year 2020-2021 after deducting non-assessment income, which was also approved by the board back in June 2018. 5 counties in the Black River area pay 7.18% of this amount, and the listed hydro producers cover the remaining 92.82%. Be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
If none, then can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Black River area assessment in the amount of $914,535.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Black River area New York State share, which is the amount of $250,000. Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this second resolution, we ask the board to approve the state share for storage reservoirs for the Black River area for the 3rd year of the budget period beginning July 1, 2020 in the amount of $250,000. The Black River area has received this amount from New York State each year since fiscal year 2015-16. Be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Okay, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021 Black River area New York State share?
So moved.
Second,
Second that.
no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River area assessment, which is $2,993,000 and $725. Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this third of these 4 resolutions, we ask the board to approve the annual assessment for storage reservoirs for the Hudson River area for the 3rd year of the budget period beginning July 1, 2020 in the amount of $2,993,725. This represents 77.82% of the costs approved by the board for fiscal year 2020-2021 after deducting non-assessment income, which was also approved by the board back in June of 2018. This percentage was agreed to in a legal settlement with the Hudson River area downstream counties. I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
If none, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River area assessment in the amount of $2,993,725.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River area New York State share, which is $827,292. Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this 4th resolution, we ask the board to approve the state share for storage reservoirs for the Hudson River area, the third year of the budget period beginning July 1, 2020, in the amount of $827,292. This represents the remaining 22.18% of the costs approved by the board for fiscal year 2021 after deducting non-assessment income. This percentage was also agreed to in the legal settlement with the Hudson River area downstream counties. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
If
moved.
none, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the July 1, 2020
So moved.
through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River area New York State share in the amount of $827,292?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the resolution approving BPAS to perform GASB 75 valuation for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020? Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The district last had an actuarial evaluation performed in July 2017 and will need a new actuarial evaluation of its other post-employment benefits liability in order to complete its fiscal year 2019-2020 audit this summer. This audit will include a restatement of the district's OPEB liability for prior years, arising from full implementation of the most recent government accounting standard, GASB Statement Number 75, which became effective in fiscal year 2017-2018. BPAS has satisfactorily conducted previous actuarial evaluations for the district in the years 2011, 2014, and 2017. We therefore ask the board to approve a resolution authorizing an agreement with BPAS in the amount of $8,000, $6,000 of which will be spent in fiscal year 2021, and $2,000 of which will be spent in fiscal year 2021-22. The $6,000 for fiscal year 2020-21 was included in the budget approved by the board in June of 2018. I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone has about this resolution.
If none, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of a resolution approving BPAS to perform GASB 75 valuation for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020 in the amount of $6,000 and 2021 $2,000?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of the resolution to contract with Bryant Rabino LLP to provide bond counsel services in connection with the insurance of serial bonds? Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before going into the details, I'd like to thank Rob Leslie and Stephanie Rizicki for their help with this resolution. You may remember that we asked the board to approve an amendment to the contract the district had with bond counsel Bryant Rabino in April of 2020. The board did so, and we greatly appreciate that action. When we submitted the amendment along with explanatory information to the Office of the Attorney General for their review, they declined to approve the amendment, citing the fact that the previously amended agreement with Bryant Rabino had expired in August of 2018. The AG's office recommended we craft a new agreement, which we have done in accordance with the advice they provided. This includes obtaining guidance from the Office of the State Comptroller, which we have obtained and which is incorporated in this resolution. So we therefore ask the board to approve a new agreement with Bryant Rabino in an amount not to exceed $10,023. This amount represents the amount remaining on the previous agreement at the time it expired. We will only use this agreement and funds to pay for the work Bryant Rabino will do in getting the replacement agreement with the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation that the board authorized last month. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
If none, can I have a motion to advance to the full board and recommend adoption of a resolution to contract with Brian Rubino LLP to provide board counsel services in connection with the issuance of serial bonds in the amount not to exceed $10,023?
So moved.
Second,
Second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
I missed that. Who moved in second?
I did, Rob,
Jeffrey
and Dick Bird.
and
Jeffrey Rule and Mr. Byrd seconded. Thank you.
can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Let me know when we're ready to go right in. Okay, I'd like to call the June board meeting of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District to order. Roll call, Mr. Leslie?
Leslie is on the telephone at present. So let me,
He is on a phone.
We'll pause for a second.
Mr. Minicha, as Assistant Secretary, would you kindly call the roll?
I switched offices. I'm not sure Rob needed to step away in personal matters, so gonna try to fill in here for him. So what do we need? Roll call?
Roll call. Why don't I go ahead, Rob Fultan. Mr. Chairman, Mark.
Here.
Mr. Hayes,
Here.
Mr. Byrd,
Here.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Here.
Mr. DeWitt,
Here.
Chief Engineer Rob Fultan,
Here.
Area Administrator John Hudson,
Here.
Compliance Officer Stephanie Rozicki,
Here.
CFO Tim Minicha,
Here.
and Mr. Leslie is excused, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We need a motion to adopt a revised meeting agenda. If you go down your agenda, cross out item number 8. We are eliminating item number 8 for this discussion. So staff and committee reports becomes item number 8. And we have a number 9 added, a resolution honoring retired employee Doug Chris. And then we'll have special resolutions about the next board meeting. So I'd like a motion to adopt the revised agenda.
I
I'll
will.
make that.
Go ahead, Dick.
Yes, I will.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Hayes and then Mr. Byrd.
All in favor?
Aye.
I notice on the screen that we have a guest present. Welcome. If you'd like to make a comment or identify yourself, please do. It's not necessary. Okay, we will move on. There's no public comment then? With that in mind, we move to number 6, approval of the May 12th, 2020 regular board meeting minutes. Do I have a resolution to accept?
I will make that resolution.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or revisions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Report of our executive director, Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report this week can be found on page 47 in your board packet. I would just like to note, especially a couple of items. Number one, we are in our reopening plan. Thank you to all the members of senior staff that helped turn that around in short order. We are opening in phases, as the board knows, as I transmitted that plan to the board on May 26th. And we reopened public visitation here in this office at SFO on June 15th with some additional precautions that John Hudson and his team have effected here in the office. So we appreciate all the hard work there and the compliance with the myriad of requirements of this reopening plan in order to keep everybody safe. Appreciate everybody's support and participation on that. Just also want to note for the board the success of both our messaging on boating safety with local law enforcement offices and state police, DEC police here in this office on May 19th. A very successful effort, well covered in the media to get the word out about being safe with our Safe Lake Initiative partners. I'm very proud of that effort. And we participated in a multi-agency exercise 2 days later on May 21st, also very successful. And just part of our effort to be a good community partner here in emphasizing safety, not just around Great Sacandaga Lake, but all area waterways. And I'd just also like to note that we're working closely with Interactive Media Consultants LLC on the online permit transaction capability that we've discussed. We've had several calls. We are in the midst, in the throes of really putting that together with help from the staff. We had a kickoff meeting that involved sort of the end users on the internal, from the internal perspective of how that will work. And we're also looking to bring in external users to help construct that so that we know that what is built and available at the end of the day is very useful to the end user and offers those customer service enhancements that we're really looking for, as well as the efficiencies. With that, with those few special items noted, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to take any questions from the board.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Kellen. We move on to staff and committee reports. The first one is the Finance Committee. Mr. DeWitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I have a resolution to approve the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Black River Area Assessment, which is $914,535.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a resolution to approve the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Black River Area New York State Share in the amount of $250,000?
So
I
moved.
will. Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a resolution to approve the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River Area Assessment in the amount of $2,993,725?
So moved.
Second?
No second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a resolution to approve the July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 Hudson River Area New York State Share in the amount of $827,292?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a resolution approving the BPAS to perform GASB 75 valuation for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020 in the amount of $6,000 for 2020 and $2,000 for 2021, 2022.
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Can I have a resolution to contract with Bryant Rubino LLP to provide bond counsel service in connection with the issuance of serial bonds that to not be more than $10,023?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next report, our general counsel, Mr. Leslie.
Sorry for that. I had to step out for a minute. Due to coronavirus concerns, Joint Commission has extended the filing deadline for financial disclosure statements to Monday, August 17th. I've received word from a couple of you that you have submitted. The rest of you, when you submit, please let me know. And if anybody has any problem getting in or filling out the statement, please let me know. Basically addressed issues pertaining to the conduct of this June meeting and a special meeting to be held later in June, as well as the July meeting. Both those meetings will be held online as well. We have received from Granicus the downloaded videos. Gina Bullman and Megan Cole are in the process of converting the last of those and posting those past board meeting videos to our regulating district website. If anybody has any other questions, answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Leslie? Thank you very much. Next, compliance officer, Mr. Zicki.
Good morning and thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report can be found on page 50. Just a few items I'd like to point out. Our MWBE quarter 4 reports have been reviewed and accepted by ESD. As the executive director mentioned in his report, we do have an approved reopening plan. I have developed, implemented our monitoring plan, which includes daily self-assessment screenings and check-ins from all our staff, cleaning logs to monitor the offices are cleaned, as well as the efficient proper use of face masks. It may sound a little tedious, but the point here is to keep all of our employees safe, and so far it's been going very well. I would like to point out that June 19th, 2020 is Daylight Hour. This is an annual worldwide event that celebrates natural light and energy efficiency in our working area by encouraging offices to turn off non-essential lights for 1 hour near summer solstice. So we'd like to make a note of it. June 19th from 12 to 1 o'clock, turn off all non-essential lights in an effort to increase efficiency. As a reminder, on pages 51 to 53 of the contract status reporting sheets, please take a look at those as their inclusion satisfies the public authority law requirement. Do you have any questions? If not, that completes my report.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Chief Fiscal Officer, Mr. Minuccia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The CFO summary can be found on packet page 54. You've already heard a good deal from me today, so the only element of the CFO report I'd like to highlight right now is the portion that is underlined. After familiarizing myself with the operations and finances of the district over the course of the last 9 months, I believe I can say what is in fact underlined there, and that is that the district cannot continue to deliver operationally on its essential mission, nor make the necessary investments in its infrastructure without significant increases to assessments charged to beneficiaries, a new revenue source or sources, or a dramatic reduction in big expense areas like the real property taxes it pays to municipalities and school districts. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this subject.
Oh, well, that's a lot.
I just want to note also, Mr. Chairman, if I may, and invite Mr. Minicha to expand on the what is necessitating the special meeting that the board will schedule in a few minutes in the item that's been removed from today's agenda. That is our new agreement for liability or for insurance coverage. And Mr. Minicha, if you want to just say a few words about that as well.
Sure, happy to. So annually, our current coverage in all of its various forms expires on June 30th of 2020. We have been working with our insurance agent, Cool Insuring, who has been the district's insurance agent for 10 to 15 years. They have been working very diligently to get replacement insurance coverage for the district. And at this time, we continue to work on that. It is a very challenging environment in which to insure dam infrastructure. We certainly were not helped by the dam failure in Michigan in the month of May, which has brought a significant amount of attention to the risk that comes with maintaining and operating this type of infrastructure. We believe we're close but did not want to bring something to the board for its review without being very, very sure that we have all of the necessary coverage in place to mitigate the risks that the district faces. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that anybody has on that subject.
What's the worst case scenario? What if we don't have insurance by that date?
So I would say that for the vast majority of the types of coverage that the district has, there is not an issue. The areas that have emerged at the end here are its general liability coverage and its umbrella coverage. And Cool has provided us a list of nearly 3 dozen carriers that it has contacted and sought bids from. We're in meaningful conversations with a couple of carriers about liability and about that umbrella policy right now. Cool is just reviewing the fine print. As you might know from your own experience, insurance policies are very complicated documents, and so they're going through the final stages of reviewing what's been offered to us to make sure that we have all the coverages that the district is going to need. If we were to not have liability or coverage or the umbrella policy, then the district would be in a position the likes of which it has not ever been before. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we reviewed what has been offered to the district, make sure that we have exactly the coverage that we desire, and understand all of the exceptions or the details that make up all those policies.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Mnuchin? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, our chief engineer, Mr. Fulton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report begins on page 75. We are formally in augmentation mode now after June 1st, or I guess is our official, unofficial date of the end of spring refilling and the beginning of our drawdown. In the Hudson River area, we saw another month of fairly dry conditions with precipitation ranging from about 30 to 50% of average, and inflow to Great Sacandaga Lake of about 63% of average and about 71% average at Indian Lake. Obviously compensated by reducing our releases to store as much of that water that we did receive. Both of those reservoirs are within a quarter of a foot of our target elevations, and as I said, we're drawing down now, somewhat sparingly at times, but as needed to meet our obligations for downstream uses. And in the Black River area, similar situation with regard to precipitation, between 30 and 50% of historic average. The Stillwater Reservoir and Six Lake Reservoir have been somewhat more significantly impacted by the lack of precip. Stillwater still about 2.4 feet below target elevation, and Six Lake about a foot below target elevation. Old Forge is at target elevation, and we've actually increased the release from what we normally have during spring refilling. Again, entering into our augmentation mode, even at Old Forge. So, I think generally speaking, the forecast for the next month or so is a continuation of the dry weather. So I would expect our reservoirs to drop down below our target elevations across the board. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I had you muted there for a moment. Did you
Okay. My wife would like access to that button, by the way. Thank you for your report. Any questions or comments? Okay. Area Administrator, Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report starts on page 109, and I'm very happy to report June 1st, we brought back to work Stephanie Porter and Danielle Thorne at the Sacandaga Field Office. I attended the underwater recovery exercise, as John mentioned earlier in his report. It was a great turnout and great to see our local law enforcement agencies and first responders working together as a team. Staff and the staff from the district and NCON completed a site visit in North Broad Auburn with an encroachment in the Del Signor permit area. I mentioned this earlier this year. Mr. Del Signor will be planting 10 trees, ones that were cut, dismantling lawn sprinkler system, seed and mulching areas that were improved for vehicle access, relocate septic tank, drain pipe and create a swale. And that's about it. And NCON is looking at imposing a fine on that also. Staff has been out on the workboat removing debris from the lake, mostly large trees that came down in the river October 31st storm last year. Today we've had like a total of 5 loads of trees on the workboat that have been removed from the lake. And we have staff working on gate 2 at Six Lake. And in closing, I'm sorry to announce the retirement of Doug Christ. Very happy for Doug. Doug and I have worked together for the last 17 years. Doug is always one of you could count on to get the job done. Very professional and a great person to work with. It seemed like Doug had a solution for every issue that came up at Stillwater. And you know, Stillwater Dam being such a remote location made it a lot easier knowing Doug was there. So now, Doug, congratulations. And in the future, I'm looking forward to joining you in the golf course once John approves my retirement request. Doug, for being a great member of our team. That's all I have. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Hodgins? Well, that dovetails nicely with what's next on the agenda. As he mentioned, Doug Christ is retiring. And we have a resolution for the board to approve. And there's a lot of whereases, which I will quit, but I'll do the resolves. It says resolved that the board of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District hereby commends Douglas Chris for 17 years of dedicated service to the people of the state of New York in his capacity as the regulating district superintendent of the Black River area. And be it further resolved that the board of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District expresses its sincere appreciation on behalf of the regulating district staff, retirees, beneficiaries, and other stakeholders for Mr. Chris's exemplary service. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to Mr. Chris with the board's appreciation for Mr. Chris's significant contribution to the regulating district's important mission. Can I have a resolution for that? Can I have a motion?
I'll have that motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? A very strong aye. I will vote on that. Now, I understand Mr. Chris is on this call. If he'd like to say anything, he's welcome to comment.
I would like to say something. It's like a surprise party. Only I didn't have time to write a speech. I would like to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to work with them. It's been great. I almost don't want to leave, but I think I don't want to get old either. So I'm going to do both. Thank you very much for all you've done for me. And I certainly will not forget any of you. Thank you very much.
And thank you for all you've done for us.
So, Doug, I think I heard John reference that he's going to join you on the golf course when I approve his retirement request. So get a tee time lined up for June 9th, 2030. John, so
John, your microphone's not working.
thanks, Doug, for it's only been a year, but it's been great working with you. I've learned a lot. I'm really impressed by your leadership, and thank you again.
We're here.
Again, thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you again.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Any board member questions or comments?
No, now he can join his wife Barb in retirement. She just retired last year.
His wife did
No.
as well.
Good.
So John C. doesn't need a golfing partner.
Okay, last, we need a resolution for our next board meeting. We have two. We're going to have a special meeting June 23rd at 10 o'clock for the express purpose of going over this insurance issue. And then our regular board meeting, July 7th at 10 a.m. And we'll be doing it right here. Again, the same way we're doing this. With everybody at home or in the office or wherever. Do I need a motion for those two meetings?
I'll move.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Finally, a motion for adjournment.
I will.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Take care, folks.